they can be benefited by this.
Actually, this is
Yes.
very, very, very good step. Means you are doing very good job. So
Yeah.
currently means you are also having your hectic life and hectic schedule.
Yes,
Then
obviously,
with your
obviously.
jobs, you are
Hmm.
doing this thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you can tell me about yourself, like what all you have done in your career and what is your roles and responsibility. So I'm mainly focus on the roles and responsibility that you have done. Yeah.
So in this system using Jira tool.
Okay. So okay. So what all? I mean, so how you used to start with your day-to-day activity? Like,
We used to start with means daily meeting. Our daily Scrum meeting used to have in morning 10:30. So in that meeting, our TL used to discuss that what are the tasks to be done today for particular day, and
okay,
we used to follow those.
okay. So if I talk about like, I mean, as you have written in your resume that you are working on Agile, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, what all meetings are there in Agile? So have you, I mean, involved? Are you involved in all those meetings or?
yeah. All means at least three meetings. I'm involved. Means a daily Scrum meeting is happening on daily basis only. Then I'm involved in Scrum planning also, sprint planning,
Okay,
sprint planning and sprint retrospective also.
okay. So and apart from that, is there any sprint demo or something like?
No.
Okay, okay, fair enough. And let's come back to you resume again. So if I mean, so you had, I mean, you have written like exceptionally good experience in e-commerce and investment domain.
Yeah.
So what all things that, I mean, can you give me some example of test cases that you have written for, I mean, critical test cases that you have written for your e-commerce project? I mean,
E-commerce project.
sorry.
Uh, Means you want me to explain you test
I
cases?
mean, give me some basic idea. Like, I mean, this is the module where I have written. I mean, I have
Okay, okay.
covered these types of test cases, which are very helpful in finding defects. And yeah,
You want of e-commerce site project.
yes, any. I mean, yes, e-commerce or investment banking domain project. Yes.
Okay, means currently I'm working on investment banking project and we have recently submitted all the test cases. Few of them I can tell you that.
Okay.
Basically, I was involved on testing the model B, which includes 16 sub models. In that,
Hmm.
we used to test the functionalities, means buying and selling screen is appearing or not. So in that, few of the test cases which we wrote were to validate whether the tab means after clicking whether the tab gets open of buy screen, to validate whether pressing F1 or F2 buy
Hmm.
and sell tabs gets open, again to validate whether the page validation is happening, means suppose there is any link, so to check that link also we used to uh, check that, means by using link validation or page validation.
Okay.
Again uh, again we used to check the whether after means client is able to after clicking client is able to view that page means clearly, logo clearly.
Hmm.
Again we
Okay.
used to check
Yeah, I mean, that is fine. That is fine. Okay. So is there any API testing is involved in that in this project?
yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm asking, is there any API testing was
Yes,
involved
yes,
in this e-commerce project?
yes. Testing was involved. API testing.
It was involved, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what all things you used to check? I mean, first of all, which tool you are using or you are using for API testing?
We're using Postman tool.
Okay, Postman. So, I mean, do you know how to use authorization in Postman or how to add
Authorize.
the authorization thing in Postman?
No, means we were basically involved in methods. which were get, post, push. Means we used to fetch the data, update the data, or either delete the data.
Okay. So when you say update and insert a data, so what is the basic difference between put and post?
There is only slight difference in both.
Mm-hmm.
In post, we can add new data
Mm-hmm.
or also update the existing data. In a put method, we can modify the data, existing data.
But the same thing is also done by the post method. So what is the difference? Like, suppose I have a request body, okay, and I'm using post method. What will happen? It will insert it or update it.
It will update it.
It will update it. Okay. Okay. Let me write some of the points. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So, what all things can you just explain me, like what all things you used to verify in an API?
In API, we used to verify whether, firstly, we used to check that link is valid or not
Okay.
by using get method.
Mm-hmm.
Then there we used to validate whether that links get open into various different browsers,
Mm-hmm.
might be different browsers or whichever mobile application client is using that also.
Okay. And what all things you used to verify in response of that API?
We used to check the HTTP codes whether that response is coming as per expectation or not.
Okay. So your voice is coming and I mean it is little bit slow. So could you please speak it
1 minute.
little bit loudly?
Yeah. Hello,
Hello?
just a minute. Huh?
No, 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 no. Still it is very low.
Hello, now.
Hello?
Hello,
Yes.
now audible.
I mean, not that much clear. I mean, it is very low and it is coming and going.
Sorry for the interruption. Might be some issue with network.
Okay, no problem. Just continue with that. So, okay. So, what you are saying, like, what all things you are verifying in API? API response?
Uh, Means we used to verify whether it gives proper HTTP code response.
Okay, HTTP code. Next,
Again, link validation also,
link validation. Okay.
and compatibility also.
Mm-hmm. And after that,
Only this much I think.
sorry.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, only this we used to check.
Your voice is again a very low. Uh,
Hello.
yeah. Now it is good.
Only this much we used to check.
Okay, only this much. Okay, so can you just tell me what is the difference between sanity and smoke?
Sanity and smoke. Yeah. Means smoke testing is basically performed on unstable build,
Okay.
and sanity is performed on stable build. We
Mm-hmm.
can describe as sanity. We can describe sanity as when uh, specialized health checkup type means in that if there is any new functionalities added or updated, then we do sanity testing. Whereas
Okay.
in smoke testing, it's just like overall general health checkup only. In that we are not only focused on a particular part, but
Mm-hmm.
overall total testing is done in this.
Mm-hmm.
In
Okay.
smoke, we consider positive types of testing,
Mm-hmm.
whereas in sanity, positive and negative both testing we can
Okay.
do.
Fair enough. Okay. So next is like, do you know? I mean, how many types of black box testing we have?
Black box types.
Yes, black box testing.
Yeah, we have various types of black box testings.
Okay. And what was that?
We we can classify them as functional testing uh, and non-functional testing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So if I ask you, like, I mean, do you know like what is equivalent partitioning and boundary value analysis?
Yeah.
Why we use those?
We use boundary value analysis to provide certain type of input means expected input means in boundary analysis we give a range means
Mm-hmm.
wherein if client wants his password to be given in eight characters only then
Mm-hmm.
there we use
Yeah,
boundary
I
value
mean,
analysis.
okay, that is my next question. But before that, my question is why we use these things, boundary value and equivalent partitioning. Why we use that? I know, I mean, these are for getting the data, but what is the use of that? Why we use these techniques? Any idea?
We
Mm-hmm.
use these techniques as they makes our task easy.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
uh, Whenever a developer gives us build, he has already coded that thing in that whatever is client expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes easy for developer to execute whatever client wants with by using these techniques.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, can you just, I mean, give me some, suppose I have an application and this application is used for voting purpose. So it means to say whenever any person who is below 18 he is not eligible for voting and equivalent to 18 and above is eligible or is or are eligible for voting. So what all the inputs that you will be creating using BVP and equivalent partitioning.
We can give input here such as in valid and invalid type.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
in
Obviously,
valid,
I mean, mhm.
we can give means above 18 they can vote means people above 18 they can hold so that would be a valid input and
Mhm.
whereas below 18 they cannot be participating in voting so
So
that would be
what all input number that you will be using to test this text box, which used to take the age as a number? What all inputs you will be trying?
we will try a plus 18 for valid input
Mm-hmm.
then a minus 18 for invalid input then means all the above all the numbers above 18 infinite that would be valid and below 18 it would be invalid.
Okay, valid and invalid. Okay, and okay, so you have created those input using BVP as well as equivalent partition, correct?
Mm.
Are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. As you have 3.7 years of experience in manual API and DB testing. what all things we used to check while working with DV. I mean, if suppose if you joined any organization and your manager asks you to handle or to give assistant to one of the intern and he's interested in database testing. Okay, so what all input or what all things that you will be conveying him that you need to focus on these things to test the database. So what all things you will be mentioning over there?
There, firstly, I would like to mention that on what type of commands we are working in that project.
Mm-hmm.
Means, for example, if we are in our project, I'm working on DML commands. So I will explain him all DLML command and how we use them.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if we want to insert some data in our database, so how we insert that data using insert, update, delete, alter, all those I would explain him.
Okay, and okay. Next is like I mean, which DB you are using currently? Which database tool?
SQL.
Sorry, which one?
SQL.
Uh, could you please, I mean, just use your mic, I mean, little bit closer to your mouth?
SQL.
Uh, I'm talking about DB. SQL is a language. Which database you are using for executing your query? Which database tool? Which one?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, which one you are using?
We are using SQL Server.
Okay, SQL Server. Okay, okay. Just a second. Let me in that person. Hello, hi Ankit. So Ankit is working in some MNC as a director in development. So
Hi Abhishek. Hi Apeksha.
Hi.
okay, so let us continue with our questions. And what is the difference between, if I ask you like, what is the difference between the retesting and regression testing?
Okay. Retesting is generally we do when which test cases which have already tested, which previously tested test cases are failed. Then we do retesting to check after the
Mm-hmm.
modification, do they work as per the requirement. To check that we do retesting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in regression testing, uh, we do regression testing to check the unchanged features of an application. Means, for example, we can say
Uh,
in regression.
Apeksha, one request to you is to
Ah,
keep your this mic closer to your mouth because I mean your voice is coming and going, so sometimes I lost your,
oh,
yeah.
okay. Now it's
Yeah,
okay,
now
now.
it is very much clear. Yes.
Okay. So, shall I tell again retesting?
Yes, yes, yes.
In retesting, what we do, they previously tested test cases which are failed previously. We
Mm-hmm.
do retesting of those test cases in order to check whether they are working as per expected platform.
Okay.
And in regression testing,
Mm-hmm.
we do this testing to check the unchanged features of an application. Whereas unchanged features includes adding of new feature or modifying any feature. That feature does not affect the other modules of the application.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what will you do? Suppose you are testing an application and you found, I mean, you have created 100 test cases of that module. And out of 100 test cases, you found 20 test cases are failing and you raised defect against all those 20. Now,
Mm.
developer fixes those defect and send you the build. Okay. So, while retesting those 20 defects, everything is failing. I mean, you have to reopen those defect. Okay. So what all
Mm.
things as a senior QA guy you will be doing or you will be conveying to the development team like so what all things you will do?
Means that build is not able to install. You want to say that build is failing or
Okay.
test cases are failed.
Okay. So I mean, at what time you will be you will say that? I mean, after executing those 20 or after executing those 100 test cases?
It depends. Means
Hmm.
which test cases are to be retested. Means which module it will affect. That we need to check that. Means
Okay.
if our test cases are related to module B and if module B is attached with module C also and A also, then
Hmm.
we need to retest all the 100 test cases again. But if it's related only to particular model, then we need to check the only those 20 test cases.
Okay. Okay. Good. So one more question is like suppose you have two modules or three modules A, B, and C,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I'm going to change or developer is going to change in one module that is B. Okay,
Hmm.
and let's consider ABC is the existing functionality in our application, and our product manager want like there is a modification in the module B. He want
Hmm.
some text or some other thing to be part of module B. So this is the new requirement that is going to be implemented. Okay, so that new module, the existing module B will be impacted by this change. So what all the impact area calculation you will be doing? You will do like I mean, which module you will prefer to be part of your impact test cases, or how will you proceed with it?
Firstly, we would like to check module B because it's impacted firstly.
Okay,
So there I will check module B. Then again I will also check module A also because
okay,
from
other module, but on what basis? There should be some, I mean, evidence or proof on the basis of that you can say that I need to test module A as well as module C.
if that particular functionality is not working or if there is any means addition or modification,
Okay.
then we
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, please.
then we need to check those modules also
But
because they are inter.
interrelated, I know. So, but the
Huh.
problem is like, I mean, you will test those A and C once build is delivered to you.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want the pre-assessing of those areas. Like, I mean, if developer or product owner can tell me like, okay, only B is going to be impacted, then I will focus on only on the B module test case, not A and C. So, what all things you will be checking or asking product owner or developer regarding that as a senior QA?
I will ask him for the build of module B.
Mhm. Because
Then
if I were on this experience, some my manager, I mean, supposed to think like I can lead a team, and he can expect me that I should ask some question to developer as well as product owner rather than just accepting the build and start executing my test cases. So for that purpose, I will start analyzing the application, the requirement like, okay, this is the module that is going to impact it. What are the evidence of other modules? Like, is A is going to impact it? I will be checking some APIs or asking developer, is there same API is being used in B as well as in C? So this is how I can correlate both the modules, and if same API is not being used, obviously developer will not going to change the code as well. So it will only focus on module B. Okay. So could you please give me some five negative test cases on tube light? Hello.
Negative test cases you want?
Yes. Yeah. Five negative test cases on tube light.
On to blade.
Yes. Or bulb. Anything that you want to take.
Um, Firstly, to validate whether uh, it's it's fixed in proper plug, means
That is
connection is right of that bulb or
that
tube light.
that is the positive one.
Okay, so not negative one.
Yeah. That is not negative. So what all think like a tester who can think some negative points of a module think in this direction, like I am going to buy a tube light or bulb, what all things I will be testing over there.
Abhishek, you
Yes.
can give her an example of negative test case,
Okay.
and then she can enhance that information.
Yeah, so something like suppose I'm going to buy a pen. Okay, then for that purpose I will be checking like this pen is bending a lot or what is happening with this pen. I can replace, suppose this is the refill of this pen, I will be placing a bigger refill or bigger thing in that, so that it will be adjustable or not. So this is how I will be checking the scalability of that particular thing or any module. Or in the case of bulb, let me give you one negative test case example. Like I will be testing it when bulb is very hot, whether a human can touch it or not. What will happen if human touch it? Something like this.
In that way, we
Okay,
can think.
then we can then also check that if
Mhm.
electricity is on,
Anything
so
that you want,
then
because this is the mock interview, so we can discuss about like what all things can be the possibility of any test case or any requirement. Because I what I have seen or what I used to see in a candidate, that whether he is trying to get the answer or he just stopped himself or herself in answering that question. So if you are trying, that is very good, so you have to keep trying. So just try, at least give me one more.
we can check the
Start thinking like you need to
brightness
purchase something.
vision,
Yeah.
whether the vision is brighter or lower. Again, we can check the when there is no power supply, whether
Mhm.
that bulb or tube light glows or not. We can check that.
Yes,
Okay.
right.
Okay, we can consider that test cases for now.
Yeah.
So.
So, Apeksha,
Mhm.
if you feel like that you can answer something by discussing, or if you get some hint and then you can come to answer, then in such cases, start discussing that thing with your interviewer. And if you feel like that you won't be able to come to an answer at all, then simply say no and move ahead to the next question. So, what will happen? This will save your and as well as the interviewer's time, and this will leave a positive impact.
Correct. Okay, Ankit, C has also experienced in API testing. If you want to ask any question related to API.
I'll ask a general question. So, Apeksha, say you have reported a defect on QA environment, and then the developer who was responsible for that code has tried replicating it on his machine. Okay, and he is not able to reproduce it at all. So, what will you do in such situation?
In this situation, I need to share some proof for the developer that might be whether a snap or screenshot of the defect.
Yeah.
So, or even attach that file in that particular mail.
Mhm. So in this case, what can happen? See, you are sharing a screenshot or a recording from QA environment, and developer is doing same steps on dev environment, and he is also sharing the proof that it is not reproducible with same steps. Even you tried on that development environment, and you are also not able to reproduce it on dev environment. Then what will be the first thing that you will go and check?
Whether that link or build is valid, we'll check that. Or I will check whether it's compatible with developer's assistant.
Hmm?
Your voice
Yeah.
is again, yeah.
So first thing we will check whether both the environments have same build or not. Okay. So suppose both of them have same build, but then also with same steps they are behaving different.
Mhm. Then, if environment is also same, then I will tell my team lead about it.
Hmm. Okay. But in such situation, won't you go and check the configurations like property files and all DB details, whether they have same DB, same properties?
Mhm. Okay. Hello?
Am I audible, guys?
Yes, yes, yes.
No.
Yeah. So what we will do first, we will check the build information, and if build is same, then we will check configurations. And if
Mhm.
configuration is also same, then in that case, what we can do, we can go and check logs.
Hmm.
And if that is something there is no information in log that can help us, then we will have to go and check DB
Yeah.
data for data,
Yeah.
right?
So
And that's where.
Apeksha, let me tell you one thing. So apart from testing or executing your test cases, what generally some good QA used to do is like whenever they found any issue that is replicating only on their machine, but
Mhm.
developer wants some evidence. So what they used to collect is like apart from giving screenshot video, they used to check like which API they are using. If we got to know like this API they are using, they used to replicate or check that particular API in Postman or any other API testing tool. So they found they got to know like this API is giving me 200 response, but why
Mhm.
the same is not happening at development machine or at development end. Then they will go for the log. Then they find that okay, this log is getting generated, and this is how I can collect the log and present it to developer. If the logs are also correct, then the next step is to go to the DB and check whether the data that API is bringing from the DB is correct or not. So they used to go to the DB and write the same query that API might be getting the data or API will be using. So they used to collect the data, verify okay data is coming correctly from the DB now on the API. So this is how you can attach those evidence.
Okay.
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 Yeah. So
Got it.
this is the if you start explaining things in such a way, everybody, every interviewer will be happy with you. Like you know the depth of testing, you know the debugging, because everybody wants a debugger as a QA in their organization. Okay. So this is
Okay.
all about it, and I have few suggestions for you. I
Mhm.
mean, you have decent knowledge in manual testing, that is for sure. Second thing, communication is Obviously good, or you can say above average. The the main point that I want to highlight is like the definition. You know the definition of each and everything. When I ask you what is the difference between post and put, you know the definition. When I ask you the definition of BVP and equivalent partition, you know the definition. So I would suggest you start explaining things little bit, briefly. Okay. Suppose if I'm saying what is the difference, why we use BVP and equivalent partitioning. So you know, like these things, these techniques are used to write the test cases, to write or to remove the redundant test cases. And same goes with put and post. Okay. I know that maybe this time you faced these all things, that's why you are unable to answer. But start working on that part too. Apart from that, everything is good. And one more suggestion I want
I
to give. As you have 3.7 years of experience, in 3 to 4 months it would be 4 year. One suggestion is like start working on little bit automation thing. Okay,
Yeah, means
because
I have already started. Means currently I'm learning Java and Selenium.
okay, yeah. So
Basic I have
if you,
covered.
yeah, that is very good if you have started it. And because right now, if you apply for any organization, okay, even if they want you to test the application manually, but what they require in their JD is automation, because they want to hire a candidate through automation process, like he should have, or he or she should have some knowledge in automation, Selenium, Java, maybe some basic knowledge. So they require that. So if you start putting those things in your resume, that it's also very good. Do you have any question?
Yes, yes, I have few questions. So
Yes.
I'm facing this interview. Means I have not even faced a real time interview till now.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know whether means they are asking queries on SQL
Mm-hmm.
related any deep queries, means for example highest salary or queries on joins.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, if you talk about database interview question, obviously there are few queries that almost 60 to 70% people used to ask, like what is the second highest, third highest, create the join, what all types of join we have, what is the difference between truncate, delete, and drop. Okay, so these are some basic questions. But if somebody asks you to write a query or to fetch some record from the DB, maybe they can ask you. But right now what I have seen, API is coming more and more. People are using API more, and QA used to interact more with API rather than databases. They are interacting with, as far as if you talk about my experience from last 3 to, or you can say 5 year, I haven't interacted in this organization. I have interacted with DB, but not in my previous organization. Those 2 or 3 organizations I haven't interacted with DB. I have interacted with APIs, because right now people are
Okay.
exploring, or moving towards microservice based architecture rather than monolithic. Okay, so microservices are there. These services has their own databases. This is how things are working in a
Changing.
organization. Yeah. So
Hmm.
if you start exploring yourself into the automation, then obviously DB part will be, nobody is going to worry about your DB part. Okay.
Okay, so I have one more question. Means now
Mm-hmm.
Postman, I'm aware about the basic things only. Means
Okay.
what are the types of methods
Mm-hmm.
we're using and how to
Mm-hmm.
fetch the data.
Yeah.
Now you asked me this question on authorization.
Yes. Yes.
So how
Yeah.
do I
So. Mm-hmm.
means I want to gain some real time knowledge on Postman. So
Correct.
is it
Correct. Correct.
possible?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is
From where
possible.
should
It is
I gain
possible.
that?
Yes, it is possible. So I can give you some details where you can, read those articles to get the knowledge, like how we can use OAuth 2.0, OAuth in any API testing. And one more point is like, if somebody asks you what all things you use to verify in API response. So there are a couple of things that that every QA has to verify in API response, such as any key that product want, that key should be there in the API response. HTTP codes that you have already told us. Third thing is like any specific array API schema that we also can verify. Apart from that, any count of, suppose your API is returning three records. So sometimes product want such certain API used to give me five record, or seven record, or six record. So these all things we can also verify in API responses. Yes.
Means I want to do practice on that, and I want to
Mm.
also know that
Mhm.
what are the test cases we can write on API. Means
So.
if you have any real time example, so that
Mhm.
I can practice test cases on that.
Yes, yes. I will be writing, or I let me write that point. That is very good. Test cases for
API test case.
API test. Okay. So just wait for 2 or 3 days. I will give you all those things. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
I want to give another means if you are available then in next week or next to next week anytime if you are free now I will prepare myself again and I want to give again
Yes, yeah,
one.
definitely, definitely. Obviously, we are here to just improve your understanding of testing concept, so that you can, get settled or get hired in some good organization. Okay, and learn some
I just
good.
want to gain that confidence little
Yes, yes.
bit.
Obviously, that is why mock interview is very important. If you start giving mock interview, definitely, what all knowledge you have, you can explain over there. This will boost your knowledge, this will boost your confidence, this will boost your skills.
Oh, so may I know you are doing this free of cost?
Yes, obviously.
You are
We
also
have,
having.
yeah. So Ankit and I have started something like this, and before that, we were teaching somewhere, as well as we are working in an organization. But we thought to, like, to we want to solve the QA industry problem. Okay, like what all QA used to face. So we used to interact to you guys, so that we can prepare something like some set of platform where anybody can come and join us for the mock interview. They can, they can be benefited by this.
Actually, this is very,
Yes.
very, very good step. Means you are doing very good job. So
Yeah.
currently, means you are also having your hectic life and hectic schedule.
Yes,
Then
obviously,
with your
obviously.
jobs, you are
Hmm.
doing these things. So I'm
Hmm.
very grateful and very thankful.
No, no, no problem, no problem. Even we thank you to appear on this channel, and hope to see you for the next interview session. Okay?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Okay.
Bye, Ankit. Bye, Abhishek.